fresh political battle is unfolding in Imo State ahead of the 2027 general elections. Former Imo State Governor, Senator Rochas Okorocha, has approved the Federal High Court, or approached the Federal High Court rather, to challenge the recognition of Governor Hope Uzodimma as the APC candidate for the Imo West Senatorial District.
Okorocha is asking the courts to avoid INEC's publication of Uzodimma's name and instead recognize him as a duly nominated candidate, arguing that he emerged winner of the party's May 18 primary. The suit also raises constitutional questions over Uzodimma's eligibility to contest for the Senate while he's still the current governor. His tenure as governor is due to run until January 2028. As the legal battle begins, the dispute is once again putting the spotlight on party primaries, INEC's role, and the growing political rivalry within the APC in Imo State. Joining us as we discuss this is Public Affairs Analyst Mr. Dotun Ojon. Good morning to you. Bright Friday it is. Welcome to Breakfast Central. Not in the studio this time, but virtually.
So to see you joining us from Abuja.
Good morning. It's good to be here.
Good morning.
Interesting story this morning, I must
Very
say.
interesting.
Yeah.
So you have a sitting governor whose tenure will last till 27, 28, and he's already preparing to go into the Senate. He's not done with his tenure yet, though. Yet the one who says, I am not in government yet, but I'm the eligible person to go in there because I won the primaries. How do we begin to imagine this, that this can even happen in this country or at this time?
So this can be extremely surprising to a non-politician, but for a politician, it's not as surprising. Let me tell you, let me make this point very clear, that retirement is a scary thing in Nigeria. Nobody wants to go on retirement. You see the protests by former military officers and soldiers. So politically too, I think many of our political players do not also want to go on retirement. So you are sitting now and you're planning what's next. But before I go into that, one very important thing that I need to talk about is the process that actually makes a candidate in any political party. I pity INEC. I sincerely pity INEC. INEC in the hands of Nigerian politicians is really a pitiable situation because, come to think of it, there's a clear guideline as to how an aspirant becomes a candidate. Now, the first thing is that you pick up your nomination form from your own political party, expression of interest form, you feel same, and you return it to your political party. Your political party writes INEC that, oh, they want to do primary election. In this case, what they have is that it's either they do a consensus primary election or they do the all-comers primary election, which is a direct primary election. And when INEC officials come, as a matter of responsibility, they are supposed to monitor that primary election. And when they monitor the primary election, they generate an independent report, which is independent because it is not dictated by the political party. It is their observation in the primary election. So they write down the name of the winners, having counted the vote in this situation of a direct primary, or having listened to the consensus announcement. They write down the name of the candidate. They take the name to their own office. Now, from this process that I've explained, the work of the political party is to invite INEC to come and supervise the primary election, is to push forward the name of aspirant. It is the duty of INEC to now write the name of the winner. They take it back to their office and they write it down. In the states, they do a report that contains the name of all the winners. They send it to Abuja. It is not the political party that sends to INEC. It is INEC independent report. Now, so when they take it to INEC, INEC has a portal where the credentials of candidates are supposed to be submitted. Now, the credential of the candidate you are submitting as a political party must match with the report of INEC. So if it does not match, then that means that you cannot submit the name of that candidate. Now, what we have seen political parties do is that after they've invited INEC to come and supervise or to come and monitor election, after INEC might have generated their independent report, the political party will now, because it is actually the duty of the national office of every political party to communicate directly with INEC. Now, after INEC might have generated their own report, submitted it from the state, you will now see that the national office now will now generate an independent letter writing the name of their candidate. In most cases, you will see that the name of these candidates are different from the one that INEC generates from the primary election. So they now send it to the national office of INEC. Now there's conflict of what is INEC going to rely on? Is it the report generated by its own officials who monitor the primary election, or the letter that is sent by the headquarters of all these political parties to INEC? And that's why this morning, I think when we continue to have a situation like this, because people have gone to court, they've been back and forth about this matter, even before this preparation for 2027. And one of the things what emboldens political party to continue to do this is that they've had majority of court cases come back to them to say, oh, party has the capacity to actually determine who represent them at the end of the day. But what a lot of people are not talking about is that political party has this power, but it should not be against the laid down principle or the laid down electoral process that is not only backed by law, but is backed by logic and is backed by practice.
Now, Mr. Ojon, you just talked about INEC supervising the dispute over the figures, but beyond that, there's an issue which I feel supersedes all of this. And I'm even wondering where the audacity came from. Let's talk about the constitutional eligibility. Former Governor Okorocha's lawsuit highlights a significant legal conflict. Section 183 of the 1999 Constitution. Uzodimma's second term, as was established in the beginning of this show, does not expire until the 14th of January 2028, while the Senate, which he wants to contest elections for, will be inaugurated in June rather, of 2027. Okorocha argues that a sitting governor cannot legally hold or contest another elective office that overlaps with the current tenure. I mean, is this not commonsensical to all of us? So why is he testing the waters? Why is he going ahead to do this if it's unconstitutional? Or is there a way the lawyers can spin it in his favor?
Before you conclude, Benga, let me tell you you know you are not a politician, so you may not see the logic in what Uzodimma is doing.
Well,
let me make it clear to Nigerians this morning. Yeah, it can be annoying, but constitutionally, a sitting governor has the right to contest for another election. We must be very clear on that. For instance, a sitting governor can contest and say, oh, I am going for a second term. In the case of Adeleke, there's nothing that violates the Constitution by contesting. But this is where the problem is, and we need to be very careful here. The problem now is that you cannot hold two offices together at the same time. So you cannot be sitting as a governor and still be sitting as a senator. And let me tell you what Uzodimma is thinking. And it can be logical or illogical, but this is what he's thinking at this point in time. He's thinking that once he wins that election, he's going to resign by June 2027 and go and join them at the Senate. And once he resigns as a governor, his deputy automatically becomes a governor. Now, why is this a bit annoying? It is annoying because the state will pay more. Number one, Uzodimma will not be able to pay attention to his duty as a governor from now. He still has over 1 year. Now he's thinking about how to go to the Senate. So that means that he's going to cheat the state on that. Number two, on the issue of his pension, he's also going to cheat the state because when he resigns now, he's going to have all the perks of office, all the perks that comes with resignation. He's going to have his gratuity, he's going to have his official car, he's going to have his house, and all of that. Now, instead of having only that one, the person that will come to replace him after about 1 year or two will also have access to the same retirement package. So instead of getting one retirement package, the state will be paying two instead of paying one. This is where it becomes a bit annoying. But as to whether he has the power to contest election, he has that right. But he does not have the right to hold two offices at the same time. And if you say you are sitting as a governor, that you don't want to go and resume in the Senate, you also don't have the right to hold the ticket of the people, to deny them representation for more than a certain period of time. So what Uzodimma is thinking now is that I am going to leave as a governor and allow my deputy to take over. And what is permutating is when I return to the Senate, I will be one of the most experienced and connected Southeast senators. So I can be able, at that instance, I can be able to grab the seat of the Senate president. But again, the people within the leadership of the Senate are also thinking, how do we prevent people that are coming to take a Akpabio's seat from taking it? So they too within the House, they are making all manner of internal rules and House rules to ensure that, to prevent people like Uzodimma, who is eager to come in and take the seat of the Senate president, from becoming one. But don't let us forget, today, a lot of people in Imo State still call Governor Hope Uzodimma Supreme Court governor, because they believe that without the help of the Supreme Court, there was not how he would have become the governor. But again, to a certain extent, within the political circle, the conversations that people are having, that I'm privy to, is that Hope Uzodimma is extremely connected within the political circle, and he has a way of getting whatever it is that he wants. So as his eyes are fixed now on getting the seat of Akpabio, at the end of the day, he may actually get it. There are a lot of cards for him to play, including the card of ethnicity, that is a core Southeasterner. And as a result of that, that he can have access to become the Senate president for the issue of spread and ethnic consideration. So these are some of the permutations. He can contest, but he cannot hold two offices together at the same time. And talking about what he's thinking presently is to resign as the governor, to go resume by June at the Senate.
So therein lies my worry and concern about how our executive arm runs governance in Nigeria, where one person is in office, your tenure is not yet done, you're already thinking of the next level. And it looks like our legislative arm has become a retirement plan for the executive arm. Governor Alex Oti, for governors, exactly. Yeah, for governors. Now, in 2024, Governor Alex Oti had signed a bill repealing lifetime pensions for Abia State governors and their deputies. He scrapped the 2001 law signed by Ojus Okalu. And this has been a core argument. Why would you have served as governor and then you leave office? You're still getting lifetime pensions and getting all the same things that were due you as a governor, and then you're serving as a senator and you're getting from both ends. Is that not cheating the people? Is that not a wasteful spending of taxpayers' money? So how then do we ensure that... So, okay, once you're answering, is it possible to speak to, that position?
You want to make a point.
Yeah, let's speak to that position and then speak to what we need to do as a nation to ensure that our legislative arm does not become a retirement plan for the executive or stops being a retirement plan for the executive.
So there's nothing, as our political structure is made today, there's nothing anybody can do to stop that as we speak at the moment, because our concentration as a people is always about who becomes the president. Oh, it must be Atiku. Oh, it must be Peter Obi. Oh, it must be Tinubu. And in the process of this, our concern and our concentration, a lot of things happen that we don't pay attention to. For instance, we don't care who goes to the House of Reps. We don't care who becomes the senator. We are only so concerned about who becomes the president. And this is why a sitting governor will leave his office. Even it is so annoying for some of the sitting governors who didn't do nothing with the huge allocations that they got, and they find their way to Senate. And why is that so? I have spoken to you about the concept of traditional leadership. In Africa, leadership is about ruling and reigning throughout life. When you become the traditional ruler of your community, you reign from birth to death. And that is what we have imported also into our democratic practice. And because executive arm, as it were, is tenured, So you can only do 8 years as a governor. The only arm of government that is not tenured, as it were, is the legislative arm. So you can actually go to the Senate for as many times as possible. For example, let me make example of our former Labour leader. I go to the Senate as many times as possible because he's outspoken, he is brilliant, and he's a former governor. And as long as he has the backing of his governor and his party, he can continue to go. So the only way to exercise our traditional mindset of ruling throughout life is to go to the parliament, to the parliament. And that's exactly what's happening at the moment. But again, we need to be very careful about the conversation around pension. Now, when you retire as a sitting governor, you take your lump sum, what we know as gratuity. It's a payoff, whatever name they call it. Then in some states, you have access to about 3 cars and domestic staff, and in some cases, you even have access to a house. But immediately you become a senator, the privilege of receiving salary stops immediately. That means as you are a former governor, when you sit as a senator, you will not be collecting salary as a former governor. Now, you cannot draw salary from the state and the federal government at the same level. So you will only be relying on the salary that you get as a senator. But immediately you leave as a senator, you go back to receiving salary as a former governor. So that is how that works. Is it logical? No. Do we need that in Nigeria? No. Especially as expensive as our government expenditure becomes year in, year out. We do not need that. But that is the practice. And I want to charge our people. Please pay attention to those people who represent you. When the issue of Electoral Act came up, the question that a lot of people were asking is that, were there no dissenting voices within the Senate and the House of Representatives? Were there no, didn't we have other people from other political parties? People won on the platform of Labour Party. Where are they today? So you must pay attention to people who actually represent you at the parliament, because at the end of the day, law is a destiny direction. Budget is a destiny direction. And these are the things that primarily concern your legislators. But if your attention is always about who becomes the president, then at the end of the day, I fear to say that you cannot have charlatans around any community and expect that citizens will become champions.
Okay, I mean, as we wind down this conversation, if the court, this is just a case of if, rules in favor of Okorocha, are we going to see INEC move to actually withdraw Uzodimma's name and recognize Okorocha as the APC candidate? I mean, asking this question, by the way, I'm also having a side of me that's saying this question is also, it shouldn't be valid because it's
almost like you're preempting the court.
Yeah, that's one. And secondly, is it even right in the first instance that someone is a governor and is already preparing his seat? And who's going to hold on to that?
He's ready to resign.
Is he resigning immediately? And just to follow up with what Joe has said.
Imagine if he resigns and he loses.
In Edo State, when Philip Obaseki, why am I mixing up his name? The former deputy governor of Edo State.
Shaibu.
Thank you, Philip Shaibu.
The governor was Obaseki.
The governor was Obaseki. When Philip Shaibu was running against Governor Obaseki, part of the criticism against Philip Shaibu was the fact that many said he spent majority of his time as deputy governor running and campaigning, at least towards the end of his time, campaigning for office as opposed to facing governance. So at what point does this become, you look at the legal perspective and also really a disservice to the citizens that voted you to lead them and to govern them? And if you know that you had intentions to serve in the legislative arm, why not just stay away? Must you be in the spotlight
Must you
at every
always
point?
be in office?
Okay, so nobody wants to go on retirement. That's what I open with. Nobody wants to go on retirement in Nigeria. Everybody wants to stay, especially in politics. Let me tell you, you can be this low today and you get a political appointment, and the political appointment just throws you to this point. Like you can be sleeping in a hotel of 1.5 before you get a political appointment. And immediately you become something in politics, you now begin to sleep in a 150,000 naira hotel every night.
There's no hotel of 1.5, just to clarify. maybe 20 years, maybe 30 years ago.
No, not 30 years ago.
I'm just telling you that
15 years ago.
The way politics just throws you up, it just takes you up to a point that nobody wants to leave. So it's not logical. And I've said it repeatedly, yeah, that one of the reasons why politicians just want to stay put is not just because of the perks of office and all of that. It's the tolerance of the Nigerian people. There are a lot of things that happen that we tolerate that should not happen. One of them is this instance. Now, in a tenure of 4 years, I have never pointed to one politician that have spent 3 years on governance. No, none. In fact, when they even win a second term, and you're thinking that, oh, okay, he doesn't have another election to run, maybe we concentrate on governance. It's a lie. After 2 years, he's not concerned about who succeeds him and explain all the bitter politics. So it's a great disservice to the people. In biblical philosophy, the concept of 4 years is to perfect that. It is to express the belief that anything can be done within 4 years. That's where this democratic 4 years tenure came from. A lot of people don't know that it came from biblical philosophy of, because Jesus was passing one time. Allow me to quickly pass in this. Jesus was
ahead,
passing,
Pastor.
and there was a situation. Yes. Leave me. Jesus was passing, and there was a tree that was not producing anything. And the disciples were engaging him. And they said, oh, these 3 years, this one has not produced anything. And he said, let's give the tree additional 1 year. That's where the philosophy of 4 year tenure comes from. And when democratic governance came aboard, it is an agreement. It is the belief that if a tenure of 4 years should be enough for any reasonable person to have been able to do something tangible within our community. But what do we have today? People are supposed to spend 4 years, but they do 2 years on governance, and the remaining 2 years, they are using it to run from pillar to post. And when you even re-elect them, they can't even complete a whole 6 years on governance. They are running again. And thank God that after godfatherism, what we've been seeing now is fight. Those people that spent 2 years to bring people into office, what have you seen? Those they brought into office have spent their first 2 years fighting them. And I think this will also teach us a bit of a lesson. So it's pure disservice to the people. It is politically enjoyable to politicians. It is politically logical to politicians. But to the people, I don't think it's something that we should continue to encourage.
I mean, it's why you will see us introducing someone as governor and saying the governor of so-and-so state, senator this.
Governor,
like,
senator.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Beyond the legal argument to it, there's a numbers, and that's in court. There's a numbers argument to it. Do we have an explanation for that? Because if, so you say 150,000, 100 and I think 2,000. So the numbers argument, if truly Uzodimma did not win, why is he announced as the winner?
Well, the courts will decide.
Oh, unfortunately, it seems that we've lost connection.
Thank you so much.
So,
Okay. If you can, in 30
and I need to
seconds.
make it very clear. It was not only in, so it is not only in Imo State. They did not make any announcement. What APC did is that immediately they received those reports, they just wrote to INEC directly the name of people they wanted as their candidate. So they didn't make any announcement. And unfortunately for them, some of their committees that were sent to states have actually made an announcement as to the winners in those states. But the national did not counter that claim. They didn't do anything. All they just did, they just wrote to INEC. This is the list of our candidate. And I think you also saw the list, which is not supposed to be so. The process should be very clear. The people at the state should write, INEC at the state should write to national, and at the end of the day, they submit the credential of whosoever wins election. But let's continue to look at how the court will actually treat this matter.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Ojon. Thanks for joining us. Let's wait and see what the court will actually do. I mean, it's just mind-blowing. I cannot wrap my head around it that you are in an office, you are already preparing the next office for 2 years. Come on. Thanks for joining us, and have a great day.